Welcome to Zeta Protocol, the Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's 43% more coherent than the current Conquest modifiers and only mildly haunted by the ghost of Zeta's past. I'm Egnards, your spreadsheet hero, joined by Pico, the clone pirate burrito, and today, the Galaxy's gone full spice dream. Maz Kanata's wandered onto the holotables with her bottomless bag of cryptic nonsense. CG provides Order 66 guidance, and Kixx is still a pirate. Just one with first aid training and trust issues. So grab a stim pack, relic your regrets, and let's get into it before a Jawa trades this episode for a single piece of salvage and a mystery box. Pico, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. You know what? I'm gonna bring this up because it is 100% in context. My in-game name is Pico Burrito, which means I think that I should be able to talk about fast food, in particular Taco Bell. But I want to share the hottest trend that is burning through my circles right now, and that is something called the Daily Tens. So the
Oh
Daily
gosh.
Tens it comes out of the New York Times game system. You know, kind of like they bought Wordle and all these pieces, but every day there is a theme that's put up, and you have to list the top 10 food that comes along with it. And today it was the top 10 largest fast food restaurants in the U.S.
Okay.
And it set off a level of argument between my friends and myself as to what constitutes a fast food restaurant or not. So if you don't do daily tens, it literally will take you like 3 minutes a day. It's great. But top of the list, Wendy's, Columbus, Ohio's own Wendy's. Again, bigger than McDonald's in the US. But on the list were Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. There's an argument, are they fast food? All right. I can see either side of it. But Domino's and Pizza Hut were both there. And that was the argument, is that do you consider pizza fast food or not?
Oh man.
That was the challenge.
I before I give you my take on this, because I do have strong opinions, I want to know your take because I don't want to sway. I don't want you to change what you're saying.
No, so look, I have a very technical view of this. One of those two companies is a customer of mine, and I helped them through a project recently. So I understand from a very industry specific definition. They are both categorized as quick serve restaurants, which are the industry fancy way of saying fast food. So that's how they view themselves. That's how the industry views them. So I actually got one of the two of them correct in the list. The fast food or the Starbucks and I missed Dunkin', but Starbucks absolutely, they were on the list. But yes, I would consider them to be now. You go to my local place, Iacano's, now because you can sit down and have a good pizza in that restaurant. So that's my view. I think it's how you interact with them is how it matters.
Yeah, so I grew up in New York, and I grew up, and I live now in New Jersey, right? So I was expecting you to say no, and I didn't want to like sway that. But I grew up in an area that has every mile there is a mom and pop pizza
Yeah,
place. And you can trip over good pizza. So to me,
yeah, yeah,
yes, Domino's and Pizza Hut, they're fast food, just on the premise of it's a different grade of food than what I'm used to. And I will say, I had Domino's 2 days ago, three days
yeah,
ago. The day was irrelevant. There's a place for it, even in New Jersey, because sometimes I want a $20 amazing pizza that tastes great. And sometimes my wife is not home and I don't want to cook. And I also don't want to spend $20 on a pizza. And I just want to be taken back to my college days, drinking Miller Lite, having
yeah.
pizza, and playing Risk on a pool table with my nerdy friends. And that it does it for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, you're right. There's a time and a place, but there are times that maybe you're on vacation with your family and it's late and you need something to eat, and it's either, Long Duck Dong's local pizza or it's Domino's. You know what you're getting with Domino's, and it is there's a reason that they exist from that side. But yeah, my wife went to grad school for 2 years in New York, and I worked with a guy who used to tell me that he was from New York, that the best pizza he's ever had in Ohio was a C, and I thought he was so full of shit. And then I went out there and just started getting like average pizza, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I think C's a little he's being a little generous in those categorizations. So
When you know, you
yeah,
know.
good stuff.
My first interaction with that was in college. My friends and we went up to Boston. I was in Oswego, and we were big fans of this smaller band, Ra, which is like Egyptian influence rock. And they're really hard to look up online because they're a 2-word letter band. But they were playing a concert in not Brooklyn. Why is Brooklyn in Boston? And my friends drove up to me, and then we drove out to Boston, and it was really late at night, and we ordered a Boston pizza. And we ordered a pepperoni pizza and had these like giant pepperoni slices, and it was under the cheese. It was maybe one of the worst things I have ever had. And that was my first realization that pizza's not the same everywhere, because where I grew up, I had been to a dozen places and they were all New York style pizza. So I'm very particular.
Like pizza is pizza until the people from Chicago pipe up, and then I tell them to shut up and sit down. It's good, but it's not pizza. All right. I should not need to put an order in 30 minutes before I get my table, sit down and eat it because it takes you that long to cook it. So yeah, it is different all over the place, but it's hard pressed to find a giant slice of foldable New York pizza and not just think it's amazing.
It's just something about like there's a little crust, but a very, very thin breading on the bottom with the dough and everything. And it's just a light layer. And you haven't lived, I don't think they exist anymore. And younger generations won't understand this, but you haven't lived until you've had a dollar slice in New York, which like, I don't know how they were doing it 10 years ago. A dollar slice and your place is in downtown or it's by Times Square. I know it was bad for me. I know there was no real food in that slice, but when you were drunk at 2 a.m, just the best.
I'm guessing it had something to do with being a laundromat, but they never actually had any clothing in the building. And if you know, you know. So
yeah. Okay, so I would love to continue on this pizza topic. Unfortunately, a lot has happened, not this week.
Yeah.
A lot happened last week. And I know it's weird to say I think this is going to be the longest episode ever when we're only 4 episodes in. But there's just so much to go over that I feel like we just have to kind of hit the ground running and go into it.
Yeah, and I think we should, and it's funny because we actually didn't talk about this, but as soon as you said that, I think we should do it maybe a little backwards this week.
Sure.
Kits are kits, and especially one of the kits doesn't come out for 3 months. Let's actually talk about the news and the important stuff, then do a stupid AI dick joke, which is what the AI stuff is starting to feel like at this point. So
yeah. Okay. So let's do the news. And I think even before we do the news, we promised people some kind of prize, right? Like we should at least get that out of the way right away.
We should.
Meathead did promise us prizes. As a reminder, Meathead and I play this little game where he promises me prizes. He doesn't tell me what they are. Then I give him ally codes, and he asks me what I think the prizes should be. And I have to play this high-low game with him where I'm always wrong. Guess too low, and he goes, man, I would have given you double. Guess too high, he brings it down. So it's tomorrow's going to be a fun day. We asked our viewers to come up with haikus. We got some pretty good ones. 4 out of 5 we agreed on, which was nice.
Yep.
There was one I really liked that, unfortunately, I think they were playing patty cake incorrectly, and the syllables were wrong, and I should have given it to them, but I don't care. Like, a haiku is a haiku. We have 5 haikus here that have won. Unfortunately, because we are dumb, we forgot to ask people for ally codes. And I did ask on Discord. One person followed through, and I'm going to ask these people, and I will try to hunt you down too, to please comment again when you hear this, just with your ally code. I have your usernames just to save me some time. right?
Yeah.
Um,
Look, it's
do
three
you?
crystals. You should be you should be able to do that. So
Yeah, it's easy, right? How do you want to read them? You want me to read them? Do you want to like go back and forth?
let's go back and forth. You want to kick it off and I'll roll in. So
Okay, yeah. So the first one is by Daniel McNamara, and I feel weird saying a full name, but that is their username, so it's public anyway. And it is blaster bolts streak by. Not one of them hits its mark. Aim, Stormtrooper, aim. Love it.
love it.
Classic.
Love it. So great. But that was just by order cut and paste. That was actually the first one on the page when you sent them all to me, and I'm just like, all right, if they're all this good, that's awesome. Like that is great.
If they're all this good, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So the second one is by J. Jimothy Hendricks, and this is strong. The light side is stronger. The dark side becomes. Zeta's by Young One. Love it. Love it. Tied to the game. Star Wars. It's perfect.
And I'm starting to feel that Zeta crunch. I know you're slightly above where I am, and you do like a little bit more purchasing than I do. But at the moment, I have less than 100, and it's hurt, especially with all these 2 Zeta kits. It's killing me. Yeah. So I'm feeling this now.
Are you trying to get them all done? Are you trying to get them all done at this point?
So yeah. So before the Gungans came out, I had a goal for 2024 to get all the Zetas. And then the Gungans came out, and I was like, okay, fine. But that is when the release cadence cranked up. And I was like, oh, crap. I just applied 12 really terrible Zetas, and now I'm going to need Zetas. So I have been trying to. I think I'm 20 away, 20 total away, and I have been applying all of them to new characters. So I'm getting close.
All right.
So the next one by Alan Karst 86, Quiggled, Harbinger of the GL Unforeseen, Hondo, Pirate King. I think this was a favorite of yours.
It is. So real quick, from the cadence of just very, very direct, limited words. Like there's a lot they're packing into those syllables. It's a perfect haiku. The fact that they rhymed 2 lines in it as well, which look, I'm a firm believer. It can't be poetry unless every line rhymes. Like there's so much packed into this. I love this one. Yeah. Like children, they're all my favorite. Some of them are just more special than others.
I would agree with the haiku style. Like again, there was a lot that made me laugh, but some of them tried to write a sentence, right? And I was like, okay, that's good if you do 575, but traditionally, like you had said in the last episode, haiku is usually about nature, and it's usually like subjective, and it makes you think. And the ones here that have like tried to tell a story without making it like a full thought have been the ones that I really like the most.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Light Larry 92. Misa trip again. Clone Army. Misa approve. Galaxy go boom. Quality. Good stuff.
I know. I read that one the first day, and I was like, I know this is going to be a favorite of mine. This person played directly to me. It was like, great. You win.
When it's a subjective contest, you play up to the judges. Like that's just the way that it works. I mean,
of course,
that's just smart decision making.
If you've ever played Cards Against Humanity, you didn't play the card you thought was funniest. You played the card that you thought the judge was gonna like. That's just how it is. That's life.
Yeah.
It's a life lesson. And then our last winner, I bent my Wookiee. Don't mean to bother. Now that you have just one hand, Luke, I'm your father. It kicks it old school.
You know, that one very much has the feel of, and I'm drawing a blank on the singer, but hey, I just met you. It's hey,
Carly Rae Jepsen. Yep.
Yeah, Carly Rae Jepsen. Think this is crazy, but call me maybe. It has that same flavor to it. I like it for that reason. So, which someone told me she's dropping the Ray out of her middle name, and then I got in a rat hole of like all of these, like, 20 to 27-year-old pop singers that were the three name singers. They're all dropping the middle part out. She's now Carly Jepsen. I don't know what to do with that.
I kind of like the
Um,
Ray in there.
I assume someone who is younger and hipper than I am will explain to me why this change is happening. I could bring it up to my daughter, and I I don't need a history of this across the board, but yeah.
I will say, when you bring up Carly Rae Jepsen, my one memory, and it's a great song of the summer, but back when, and again, we'll alienate the younger generation here, but when chat roulette became a thing, right? And you'd pop on and you'd just get a random person to chat with, and it was usually dicks. It was almost always just penises. But sometimes you didn't get a penis and you got to actually talk to someone. It was kind of cool. There was this guy who did a video, and I very rarely watch videos, so if I'm telling you to watch a video, you should do it, who had this idea. He went out, he bought like 30 bikinis, and he would go on to chat roulette in like the most ridiculous, revealing bikinis with that song on in the background. And he ended up piecing it together into a 4-minute music video of him doing this, and the dozens of people like sitting there dumb-faced waiting for not a penis, and then just like smiling and thinking it's the funniest thing in the world. And I, every time I hear that song, I think of that video, and it just makes me happy.
As a quick aside, and I'll share this because you have a dojo, so this
Yes.
is relevant for you. But my high schooler is a wrestler. He's a sophomore wrestler, and there is a young man in Columbus who's somewhere between a junior in high school and maybe 2 years out of high school. But if you message him on a social media platform that you want to fight, not like fight, but like wrestle, whatever, he will show up to where you're at and box, wrestle, MMA, whatever you want to do. And it's fun. They've put it on video and whatever. So they do. My son has a practice on Mondays, and this kid has shown up like 2 or 3 times to that. But one of the wrestlers challenged the kid, and he got whooped by the high schooler. But that practice was being run by a sophomore Ohio State Division I wrestler, former state champion. And the video of that this young kid, and again, he's playing up for the crowd on the virtual piece. This wrestler grabbed this kid, threw him so hard over his shoulder that he actually almost counter rotated around and put himself on his back, whipped him around. So, and it was just great, and I love it. I wish I could tell you the guy's name, but to just randomly like smile and say, "Tell me where you want to go, and I will do whatever style you want to." And it's in front of like Chick-fil-A's and barbershops, and yeah, it's great.
He's like the
internet is
DoorDash
a
of getting
wonderful,
your ass
strange thing.
kicked.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
All
All
right,
right,
so
we're all over the place tonight.
that's okay. That's fine. We have a lot of news. I think let's start. Do you want to start big, go small? Start small, go big.
Your call. Whatever you want to do.
I feel like let's just knock the small things out of. Well, I mean, they're big, but they're such small little news items. The first one up is that CG did release for us some guidance on underside squads for Order 66. I did not expect this. I really, really thought. We had discussed this, and I think that there were some teams that were in the spirit of Undermans, right? Like the 3-man Jedi Master Mace Windu, and then there were some that were not in the spirit of Undermans, like the 3-man and 2-man clones. I really thought that they would find a way to nerf it, and I would have been sad, but not upset about it. But Meathead has said that as of right now, they are making no changes to the Undermans. They are keeping everything as is, and they are happy about where Order 66 stands. What are your thoughts there?
I'm happy. I'm happy for the community. I'm happy that people will be successful in the raid, and if people are successful in the raid, they'll be successful in other parts of the game, and they'll continue to play, and I will have people to play with. Like that. That's my thought on the how I want the world to work person. I don't like it because I like 5-person teams, and I also I'm tired of listening to people complain. I made the decision last week before they announced this. The 3-man clone team, I was putting a cap on 5 restarts, and if 5 restarts didn't work, I was going to be happy not putting a team in. Like, I was only doing 4 teams because I that is such a terrible, terrible RNG fest to get up and running. For as easy as Tarkin is, the other team is so miserable to get it up and running. I've now slid a pirate team in that works off of Scriby's video, but I'm generally happy around it. I'm also not surprised. I think, like, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised, because as we'll see with some of the other announcements there, I just don't think that I don't think they're punitive right now.
Yeah. I will say on the 3-man squad, you had encouraged me to learn the squad last time we did this, and I did. I sat down and I learned it. And since then, I've had 2 guildmates go on vacation, so I've done it for them. I've had another 2 guildmates who didn't understand it, so I went in and I changed their hot utils and I figured it out on their. So I have learned this counter back and front. I went from I don't want to do this, I hate restarts, to I know this thing better than the back of my hand. I definitely understand the annoying amount of restarts involved. It sucks. The only reason it doesn't annoy me, right? So like the Sidious 3-man in Naboo really annoyed me, because that felt like a normal team. That felt like a team they wanted you to do.
Yeah.
The restarts don't bother me here only because I feel like I'm getting one over on CG. You know, like I feel like screw you guys, I figured this thing out. You didn't want me to do this. So like I'm not mad at the RNG because I know this is not on purpose. Either I've had really good luck with it so far, or you know, I don't know. But so far doing both runs, the Tarkin and the 3-man, it never takes me more than 15 to 20 minutes as a total time. And that's less time than I used to spend on Naboo. So I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah. Well, and look, I think that your thought on the 3-man team is probably skewed off of where your guild is in progression on the raid. Like
Yes.
we're at the point that if I think we had, we'll call it 18 people that I think, no, it's less than that. It's like 11 people that are scoring a full 18 million.
Mm-hmm.
If all of them dropped one complete team out, we would still be at the max box. So it's a lot easier to say, no, I'm just going to skip that. I don't care. If you're trying to get to one of the higher boxes and that 3.6 matters, yeah, that's a hard thing to say you're not going to do from that side. It became much easier with the video that Scriby posted last week. Is it Scriby or Scribe?
Well, so it's funny. I asked him. Scribe is the channel.
Yes.
He told me he doesn't care Scribe or Princess Scribbles, but never call him Scribe Gaming.
Okay. All right.
So sometimes I like to call him Scribe Gaming just to piss him off. But
yeah. He put out a video of a pirate squad that was Athano, Quiggold, SM, Hondo, and a 5th. Like you can do it at tier 6 with 4. At tier 7, you need to just bring a 5th. He did it with a Jedi, I think.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy to do, although I'm having some problems with it today because I just think I'm missing a step someplace. So that also made it a little bit easier because you're going from 3.6 to 2.7 and you wait for things to come around. But I like full size teams. I like teams that fit the right theme.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing for me, and I'll admit that. So
I guess my one question for you then, because now my guild, we have a 3-month goal to hit the second to last box and a 6-month goal to hit the max box, which is more than we've ever done.
Yeah.
And today, it's about 6 weeks ahead of schedule. We got within 2 million of the second to last box. So I'm like, okay, great. It sucks that it sucks that it's 2 million less. It sucks that we couldn't make that up, but like we're ahead of schedule. This is great. I happened to get the max personal box at 12.15 million, whatever it is. Are you, I know obviously it'd be nice, but from a realistic player perspective, are you hoping that when Hondo comes out that they are going to either add another box or another personal score, or are you like, I'm good? Like, it'd be great because I get more, but I'm good.
I'm going to answer this two ways. I'm going to answer it with the tinfoil hat on and without the tinfoil hat on.
Okay.
Without the tinfoil hat, I don't need another box. I want things to be easier is really all that it comes down to. And I'll go back. I need the folks that are finishing spots 41 through 50 in our guild to increase their scores so that if I go on vacation and I need to do 100,000 points, I don't have to worry about it. Like that's the way that we're looking at it right now, is still pushing the folks that are still building teams is vacation time coverage. Tinfoil hat. Without the hat, there's also nothing that they're going to put in those boxes or that I can buy with those boxes unless they put some very, very specific things that are not tokens that worth my while. Tinfoil hat, hell no, because if they put another box in, I think that there's going to be another level of character investment coming, and I'm just not ready for that right now. I've got some things that I want to get done before we go into whatever's next.
So my thought process,
I think,
my thought process, and it's not mine. It's not my theory. There's someone on the raid server. I don't know if they are the originator of this theory. Belloc had suggested that there may be another box coming, and I think that the theory just kind of revolves around the fact that some of these undermans that are allowing max scores right now were not intentional originally. So the idea that, okay, great, you can get max box, and then when Hondo comes around, that's the push to get Hondo. Now, since that theory came out, we have the idea of Smugglers Run 3, and we're both in agreement, right? Like, it's a resource event, go for the resource event. But it's kind of like Schrodinger's theory. Right now, it both exists and doesn't exist until Hondo's out and we know more. But I definitely get the vacation thing, right? Like, we're 2 million away from the next box, and I'm pushing very hard. And I would love if the bottom 20 in my guild were doing more than 2 million, right? Because it's like, come on, guys, like, let's go. We've had a lot of time to do this. And then I wouldn't have to Relic 9 another team on top of what I've already done.
So to me, if you ask why CG made this decision, I think that we saw, and we'll talk about this in a couple minutes, but CG made it easier to put more stuff into your roster this week. And I see this change to the raid and driving people to be successful in the raid is a further extension of that. Look, the reality is they don't have a problem with people going after Pirate Hondo because people always go after Galactic Legends. Like, the characters that people tend to chase are the characters that are always in the game, and I don't have to worry about being on a 3-month cycle, and does that 3-month cycle kind of get in the way of things. The raid teams will come for people because they're going to go after the Galactic Legend, because the Galactic Legends are what people need in the game. Like, it's that simple. I don't think we need another raid tier to get people to throw involved resources at Hondo and the other characters.
I definitely think that the resource event is going to be a big thing. I will say, I think we talked about this briefly the last time we recorded, that Ahsoka Tano does have a a surprisingly low adoption rate. Now, obviously, K1 is always going to adopt. A lot of K2 is always going to adopt. But in terms of raw numbers, and I don't have them off the top of my head right now, she has a relatively low adoption rate. And, we can talk about the conspiracy theories of whether or not there was supposed to be a raid attached or something else attached to her that just got kind of scrapped. But generally, as long as something is attached to the Galactic Legend, yes. And we do have Smugglers Run 3, and with that being on the horizon, I do think, I don't know if it takes away credence from the theory, but at the very least, it does provide enough for me to say, yeah, no, I have to prioritize this because Smuggler's Run is an amazing resource event.
So I'm going to give you two reasons why Ahsoka Tano has low adoption. The first is, if you look at the characters tied to her release, the best Galactic Legend team is Ezra with Rey.
Yeah,
Like that's the problem, and what that created a very light based Galactic Legend team that can be beat by a lot of other things. So it draws away for the need to actually push it down. Like I don't want to say that she needs a lifter, but Rey needs a lifter to push Ezra back in the other direction to fix
out of
it.
it.
That's the first. The second, she was a late November release. In early February, they announced a new raid. Like that, I think that had more to do with it, that the new raid was coming and people pivoted to
Than
the
anything else.
raid being able to keep resources up than chase after her for any other reason. Um, it was a weird timing for those two things. And again, conspiracy theory was this the raid that they always wanted? Were they going to be included as part of that raid? Who knows? But I think that had more to do with it than probably anything.
And it's definitely possible. I'm not a savant. I can't give you dates off the top of my head, but I can tell you from memory of remembering when I was farming things. Most GL came out either in the spring or the fall. It was very weird to have one that released right around the, okay, goodbye guys, we're leaving for 4 weeks kind of time. So I mean, it's a plausible theory in that regard. I think it is a good segue into the next news article because it does involve kind of what you were saying before, and you had said we would talk about in a couple of minutes, and it's really the bigger piece. And for the people who do watch or listen to people who pretend that they're smart, I think that this is the piece of information that they're interested in the most. So we're going to swing on over to that. And I mean, I don't think we need to read this word for word, but do you want to paraphrase basically what's going on?
So I assume we're talking about the changes, new game changes, and
Yes.
the resourcing changes is the piece that we're talking about here. Yeah. So I think that, I mean, at a high level, one, they dropped the cost of a number of resources. Like notice Kixx cost half the amount of gold that's there. So the
Yes.
idea is you're going to be able to get characters up to 85 much faster. What also came out, they removed the cap for getting characters into relics. They've gated certain relic levels behind stars. So this is, I heard someone describe this, and this is kind of a good way to look at it. They're moving a little bit closer to the maybe like the Marvel Strike Force model, where the relics now start to look like red stars. Where at 5 stars you'll be able to take a character, I think, up to relic 3, and then
Yes.
they'll continue to increase. The biggest thing for me is um, being able to put 6E plus mods on characters at any point in their life cycle, which means just push mods into 6E. I know it's easier said than done, but and effectively they're lowering the gates to get resources onto characters and make them viable at stars and relic levels across the board. Um, the one that to me is super interesting, the focus datacrons, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
require relic 3 at the cap to use the entire datacron. Is that correct?
So I think, I mean, I can actually look into game, but I don't think you actually need relics at all to use a focus datacron. But I'm going into my game, and I think that was one of the things that people were saying, like with focus datacrons. They were like, "Oh my god, I can use this thing, and I don't need a relic team, and like it's great." In game, until I level these up, I do not think that there is a way for me to quickly check, but the requirement is much lower than a regular datacron.
Well, at minimum, for we'll say folks K3 and lower that are and not even really when you get into Rhodium and Bronzium, where you're having to play characters that are not they're 5-star, they're 6-star, they're not max G12 characters. This provides you an opportunity to get relics on characters, but also those relics are what gate standard datacrons in a lot of those cases.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you an opportunity to start using datacrons on a Qui-Gon Jinn team with base Jedi on it because you put an Omicron on them. Now you can attach a datacron to it and maybe have a little bit more success in GAC. Um, you know, so I think it's a great change. I think that again, it's letting people put more resources behind characters. There was there was something else that I saw in passing this week that there was something tied to. Oh, that's the question. So with Galactic Legends, there's a
Hmm.
requirement for one of the characters in the list is an R3 character. So does
Athano.
that mean you can get a Galactic Legend only at 5 stars?
So I can confirm. I mean, obviously, I can't confirm yes or no because he hasn't come out, but I can confirm that I have a 5-star Captain Athano, and he is Relic 3, and it does check the box, right? So presumably, it should work. I will say that this is the first time that a new marquee has been less than a Relic 5 requirement.
Okay.
And when he was first released, the text post said Relic 5, but in game it said Relic 3, and then they edited it. So my thought is they did an oopsie. There was a
Yeah.
communication error, and they just said, it doesn't matter. It's really, this isn't gating any people. Like, who cares? Just leave it at R3.
It, especially when the character they did it with is going to be the one that's going to be available for the longest period of time leading up to the release of the Galactic
Exactly.
Legend. It's
That's my head
it would,
canon.
yeah.
But the whole idea
Yeah.
is you can relic them at as low as 4 stars to relic 2, and at 5 stars they can go to relic 6 stars is relic 4. So 5 stars is relic 3, which basically means you can use them in all game modes except for Rise of the Empire.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So it does kind of gate, and it doesn't gate, gate's not the right word. It does kind of push people more into the new content to say, you know what? It is worth it for me to bring this guy up. Maybe not to 7 stars. It changes the
Right.
game from someone like you who maybe is going to do the 6 stars trick and bring the character to 7 stars versus me who originally was only going to bring the first character in an event cycle to 5 stars. And now I'm saying, oh, maybe I should bring them all to 5 stars because they're usable to me now, right? Yeah. So they're taking the top end money, but now they're also saying, well, we'll take some of the bottom end money too. And it's smart.
And it's funny, they even slid in, I think, in the announcement that, like we expect to see pirates coming up in Galactic Challenges sometime soon, which I was thinking the other day that we haven't seen anything really new added to the Galactic Challenges, I think, probably since Gungans came into the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, there's a certain advantage to phasing old stuff out as quickly as possible so that you don't have to go back and again, here's the joke, test something that, they don't have to test Geonosis and Hoth,
Yeah.
those territory battles anymore. If you can get everybody into being at a point that they're doing 85 or 90% of the people are doing Rise of the Empire or something similar to that point. So the other piece that came with this, and this is where I read it and I skimmed it, and I'll be honest, it will not be anything that affects me. So I didn't pay a whole bunch of attention. So I have some questions around it.
Sure.
But it's the idea of light speed tokens.
Yes.
So what I understand is there will be ways to get these tokens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but those tokens will effectively allow you to immediately upgrade a character to certain tiers, whether it's level 85, 3 stars, gear 10, ability 3, 85, 4 stars. Yeah, on down the line. It's going to pretty much look very similar to what these relic cadences are.
So the nice thing about the way that we record this, and this is a great point that I wanted to bring up. Last week, so much was going on that someone tagged me on Discord, and then I tagged you, and they were like, with all this going on, is there going to be a special episode of Zeta Protocol so that you can just cover this stuff? And,
Yeah.
outside of the whole, we both have busy lives and it's just not manageable, I had kind of said the nice thing about our cadence is that we not only get to react to the news, we also kind of get to react to how it plays out, since we do get to see it a little bit. So as of right now, Lightspeed tokens are in game. They are part of the episode pass. And there is, at level 49, there is a level 2 Lightspeed token. Now, for those of you listening in your car, Pico is pulling up his phone to confirm that these are in his pass.
Yes, I do see them.
There is a tier 2 chromium, tier 2 bronzium in the free pack at level 49.
Yep.
It'll get you a 4-star gear 12 at ability level 4. And there is a tier 3 chromium that'll get your character to relic 1 in the paid pass. The bronzium is 4 stars. The chromium is 5 stars. How that'll affect people who have them at 7 stars but lower gear levels, I don't know. Presumably they'll still get their relic levels. There are no other ways to get them in game yet. CG has said that they will be in the stores, whether that means the episode store, whether that means the paid money store. I don't know. And just to stave off anyone who is preemptively mad, because I've already dealt with this on Discord, the episode currency at level 49 is still there. It's just distributed through the other levels. And that is a positive change because you now get more of it sooner.
Now, the other thing they said is, like, in my case, that level 85, the chromium, you'll be able to scrap those for, it looks like some relic material is what it's nothing overly impressive, and I think that's the reason, because one, they expire. That was one of the points that they made. So they are there to be used. Don't hoard them. And two, I think you have to put a lower salvage value on them because people will earn them and salvage them for other things. The whole point of this is there are now 300 characters in the game. This is a way for you to get Ewoks up. This is a way for you to get Jawas up, because you're never going to throw resources at those characters from that side. So, and they also said, so they introduced this concept of eras into the game, and the eras are going to be tied to the era concept that we have for marquees. Everyone before
Ahsoka,
I guess, Bad Batch. Well, so the Ahsoka. That's right. That was the new marquee cadence. Everything before that is going to be the legacy era, and these tokens only work on legacy era characters. So don't think you're going to hold it for Captain Jude Law and rank his character up that way. No. You got to go backwards. You got to go back in time.
Yes. And they did save some space in here. They said that initially they're only for legacy era. And they talked about kind of like that year mark. And I think that the point of them starting to add that legacy emblem to all of the characters is so that they can keep track of this, so that maybe in a year there might be a pirate one. But these tokens do expire after 6 months. You have 6 months with them. You either deconstruct them or you use them. I don't even know if you can deconstruct them if you have characters that can use them, because nobody has one yet. You need to get to level 49. Nobody has level 49 yet. I have 13.4 million GP. There is a single character in the Separatists. I think it is Poggle the Lesser. He is the only character that I will be able to use this on. Unfortunately, Smugglers or Scoundrels, whatever it is the one that's in the episode pass. But I was looking forward to, because he's G12, I was looking forward to not using G12 gear on him. So he's patiently waiting.
So a great use for these for CG. May the 4th rewards, year anniversary rewards. Like
Yeah.
that's an awesome, because again, the point to these are to rank up older things. So yeah, I'm gonna give us 4. You know, the salvage stuff isn't that great, but help a young account out and run it from that side. So again, this just feels like their attempt to push units up. And again, this does it does help with things like Galactic Legends, because there always are legacy characters that are going to come along with it. Like I don't know what's currently in the Hondo list right now. I'm pulling it up, but uh,
Gas.
there's Gas is
Well,
in there, who
gas
would
would
be
be
legacy. I
irrelevant.
think
Yeah.
Gas, because they said no Journey Guide
No
characters.
journey guide characters,
But
no conquest characters. Yeah.
look, we're probably going to get Orsting. We're probably going to get or not Cad Bane. Embo is part of requirements for him, because he was in Clone Wars episodes with him. Like that's a great use
Yeah.
to. You may have Cad Bane, or not. I keep calling him Cad Embo, big hat guy, but bigger hat guy, not little cowboy hat guy. Aura might be a character that you haven't ever ranked up. This is an opportunity maybe to give you a head start and kind of accelerate down that path for the Galactic Legend from that side.
I can definitely see these being used as like rewards, and it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing because it is a catch-up mechanic for a lot of people. You know, when you play a game that's 10 years old and you're going, all right, all this great stuff is coming out, but I'm stuck doing all this other stuff. CG has been really signaling, hey, we want to get you out of that stuff and into the new stuff. And now my headcanon is, as a business owner, we want to get you out of the unprofitable stuff to the profitable stuff. Now, the nice thing, though, is that the profitable stuff is the new stuff, the fun stuff, the exciting stuff, the thing that people are talking about. So it's not necessarily a bad change at all. It gets people into a position where they care about what's going on in the game because they're leveling up these newer things. The scrap value, as you say, is not that great. It's the kind of thing that you pop open Reddit, and there'll be people complaining about it, and they'll go, "Why am I not getting more?" And it's free. It's free. It's free. It sucks. It's not great, right? At the level 5, you get 5 of each signal data, 10 circuit boards, 10 bronzium wiring, 5 chromium transistors, 5 erodium heat sinks. It's nothing to write home about, but it's also free. And if you don't need it, you don't need to buy it.
And again, circuit boards are things people are always chasing down. Signal data are things that people are always chasing down. It pushes people up. But the other piece that comes along with it is they again removed a bunch of caps for kind of like progression pieces. So unit level is no longer gated by the player level. So although I think getting to 85 is like, oh, I sneezed and I'm level 84, you got to run 2 more missions after that. Abilities are all unlocked, right from the start. Ability tiers are no longer gated by gear tiers, which was always dumb. Unit level no longer gates. The only exceptions are Zeta and Omicrons, which are also not included with what you get is with the light side tokens. Ship reinforcements are no longer gated by star level and ship, which is huge. If you think about the last capital ship that we got, everyone trying to force that, it was Sarah was very famously, I don't think she ever ended up getting Leviathan to 7 stars because you just needed to get the 6 to get to the second reinforcement.
Do you think that she logged in
upgrades
once a month afterwards just to get it to 7 stars?
Something happened. Oh, when Maz came out, we refer to it as summoning the Sarah, and someone will tag her in a post, and all of a sudden she'll appear out of nowhere. And I joked that I had someone who wanted to join the guild by the name of what was it? It was the name was Celiac Sarah, but I swapped the S and the C because you can make them sound the same thing. And she's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I already deleted that app off my phone like 5 months ago." So no, she is not. It is gone forever.
Though the one thing, and if you haven't read this far, capital ship upgrades are still gated by star level. Every other ship is as is, but so
Yep.
she would still be screwed, right? Leviathan
She would
would.
be. She would be. Yeah.
I would love
But
to see that at 7 stars. I followed that, like that was an arc. I was like, come on, just do
yeah.
it, just do it.
I think that's why she quit. She just didn't want to put that last star on there. It was
She
easier to go down the path.
she was at 100 of
Yeah.
100. She's like, no, not
Yeah.
doing this.
The other piece, and again, for every rule, there always are exceptions. There are 3 specific characters that do not unlock everything immediately. General Skywalker's leader ability needs gear 7. Marin's special 1 needs gear 10. Night Sister Zombie still needs unique requires gear 10. Marin and Zombie specific. Well, actually, all 3 of them are there because if your stats are too low, it triggers their condition. It essentially
Yeah,
gives them. It puts them
too
into a
much.
loop with their condition. But yeah, this is. And then the last one, all character unlocks are now reduced to 2 stars.
Yeah. So the thing
Um,
here that's important, and not the characters themselves are not important. You know, like some characters are 3 stars,
yeah,
some characters are 4 star unlocks. The only really important thing about all non-conquest, non-journey guide characters being 2 star unlocks is that it does not change bronziums. Right. I know people were
okay.
confused about that. You still get the 80 shards or the 40 shards or the 20, whatever it is for what the character should be or should have been. You're still getting that. So old DACA, still 80 shards, still that much charge up currency. Boba Fett, same thing. It's really the only pertinent thing that anyone needs to
Yeah.
know about this list.
Uh, the other, again, this is the intention implement, or intention execution. I think is a miss. Um, they've removed reoccurring events from your event feed if you can't participate in them any longer, i.e., the 2 ship battles that were there. But they can still force events that you can't get any advantage out of. Like right now, I see all of the pirates, despite the fact that I have them and I can't do anything with them. The Drogon thing from last month. So, um, you'll still see some of those in the list. Um, Scrolling sucks. It's more you get excited because you see a bunch of things there before you have your first cup of coffee in the morning, and then realize no, it's just the Athano event for the 3rd time in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, if I'm looking at it right now, so what I expect to see is different. So I see Quiggold, I see Athano, I see Balin, and then I got to go over 5 different events to make sure that I don't forget to do Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
So yeah, I wish that would have been cleaned up, but I mean, it is what it is. I'll take the good, I'll take the bad at that point. But all in all, again, the fact that there can this, like, to me, this is more than a quality of life update.
Yeah.
Like this is an intentional evaluation of where the game stands and making changes to simplify bringing new people to the game. That's that's showing their continued kind of commitment and investment into the game.
CG has been really good about that over the last couple of years, and they've made a couple of balance passes. And, this is where a lot of other games fail at the 5 year mark, at the 7 year mark, at the 9 year, because when you have a game like this, nobody wants to join at the 10 year mark. It's an insurmountable obstacle to get to an interesting level of the game. CG has been very intentional about that, and it is one thing that I will constantly and I will always give them credit for. Starting way back with accelerated shards and then accelerated gear, and they've cleaned up the early game, I think 3 times now. And then, these quality of lives that maybe don't affect me so much, but are a big deal for a good majority of players.
Especially a game that's built around not necessarily the need for a massively broad roster, but it has a broad roster of characters to work with. And I don't remember how long ago this was, but I know at one point after hearing about League of Legends and the other big one that was kind of that MOBA type style, uh, and deciding, hey, I want to check this out, and then you open it up and there's this character list of like 70 characters. Like, I don't know where to start. I'm just gonna uninstall this. Like, I think that
That was a good idea.
this yeah.
They have such
Yeah.
toxic player bases that you did a good thing there.
Yeah, that's what I made that comment. I'm like, hey, I was gonna do this. Like, yeah, please don't do that. Like, we'll go find something else. But making it easier for people to catch up, I'm fully on board with that.
Yeah.
And also, this is a catch up mechanism that is not built around please give us cash. It's not the Lightspeed bundles, which again I think are great, but they're geared for a very specific set of people. This is putting something in place. I mean, think about it. If you can get to the end of the episode pass and you're willing to put, and not even willing to go to the, if you're willing to do the episode pass, that means you're putting every 2 weeks you're bringing another character up in relics.
Yep.
Within if you do that over the course of a year, you're bringing up 23 characters into that, or 26 characters into that list. That's a big uptick, and again, that's GP. That's a lot of different things that are going to kind of give people help in different places.
100%. And I think what it is it's a signal from them that they're like, hey, we want to be here for another 5 years. Like where normally people might say, well, I'm concerned that the game might only last another year because it's so old. They're very much saying we want to position ourselves to continue making this game. And that is a good thing for the player base.
All right, let's have some fun with this for a second, though.
Sure.
Give me your tinfoil hat reason why they're doing this.
I mean, oh God. You say it's not about cash. I think everything is about cash, but I don't think everything being about cash is a bad thing, right? Like, so a lot of people, when they talk about cash, they talk about it as if it's a negative. We've had this discussion before where like businesses need to make money. Obviously, duh, right? Like that's the smart thing. I do think that one CG is realizing that their new player base, right? So like the players per month downloading the game is lowering, or they're seeing a lot of people downloading per month but then dropping off, because I think that a lot of players don't realize that they have retention metrics. They know if someone downloads the game for 5 minutes and then deletes the app. Like they understand those things. I think that their goal is to reduce the level of free-to-play players, and instead of hoping to get $300 a month from every whale, they're hoping to get $20 a month from everybody. And I think it's a great business decision. And as much as some people might not agree with me, I think it's a great player-friendly decision too, because now I feel like if I spend $20, I'm actually fundamentally altering my account. Whereas 3 years ago, spending $20 got me jack shit. You had to spend a lot of money. So I do think it's a business decision. I do think it's about cash, but I do think that business and player friendly can coexist. And this is one of those decisions that allows both of those things to happen.
So I'm going to go in a different direction, and it pains me to think that this is where they're going, but I do think this is the case. This is the precursor to an increase in the number of teams that we need in PvP game modes. And so in particular on GAC, there have been more teams, significantly more teams than what are needed, even if you're inefficient in the game. But the problem has been if you raise the number of teams needed at the top end or in the mid tier, you still have this scenario that players just coming into the game, they're still either running with like 3 teams and half of the teams are level 1. I think this is a way to get characters up to increase the PvP board, which ultimately, look, I'm not I play PvP because it's part of the game. It's not my favorite piece. What the PvPers probably forget in a lot of these cases are everyone talks about conquest and territory battles are there to check engagement metrics. No, it's the PvP modes that do it. The PvP modes are actually what get people to log in and do that. if they increase those board sizes, that's just they're going to use that to turn around and show everyone like, oh, no, we increased that number by 25%. You increased it by 25% because you gave me 25% more teams that I had to beat, 3 times a week for 3 weeks a month.
I will say
I think that's the lead in.
that last week I had a match and somebody had the quad mate team with the Krennic Cron, right? The support Cron.
Yep.
And there was no info on it. So I just kind of threw shit at the wall and it did not go well. And I battled that team 26 times. So he got 25 holds.
Yeah.
And on the 26th battle, I did manage to beat it. So what I think that signals is, even throwing shit at the wall, I have so many teams that are extra.
Yeah.
That it's just like, yeah, like I get it. I do get it from a PvP perspective. Like, there is a lot sitting in our rosters that we are not using. And I don't. Oh, his name was actually Quinlan Voss. So fuck you, Quinlan Voss. Just fuck you hard, man. But good game. You hit me hard with that defense.
So so my opponent, and I will butcher this name. It's Baris Stakazek, I think, but they're an Natalia Fury. So I'm guaranteeing they're not listening to this, as I'm guessing they're probably not following a lot of English podcasts. But bro, you won. Because my new philosophy this time around is you take an attempt at Flicker, and if you lose, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to try anymore. I did 2 weeks ago. I got hoodwinked. by someone. So they ran into an issue in the top part, and they made 7 attempts on one team at the top.
Yeah.
And couldn't break through, and then they left it. So I'm like, great, I won. I cleared the bottom. That was enough. They did not have enough points. And what I think they did is, I think that they sent 7, and I haven't gone back and looked. I think they sent like 7 individual characters in to crank that number up really high to make it look like they got stuck. And then they wiped me out in the last 30 minutes. They're like, what a genius thing to do. Like, that is winning.
They deserve that win.
That is phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to follow up on that, because they deserve that win. That was a really good win.
It was one of those cases, like, I had him by like 2.5 million GP, and I think it was a case where, like, you know what? I can't just beat him outright. I'm just gonna outsmart him, and they absolutely outsmarted me. Good for them. So.
Those are actually the people that scare me the most in GAC. Like, I'm 13.4 million, and then I'll see like a 10 million account, and I'll go, I don't know how he got here. I'm nervous. Because by all metrics, I should win, but you have done something right. I got here by brute force. You figured something out. I'm screwed. Yeah. I'm terribly, terribly screwed. I think unless we do want to double our normal length, we do need to move on. I don't. We said this before we recorded. Maz's kit, I don't give a shit. She's not coming to the game for 3 months. I don't think it's relevant. But I do want to spend a couple of minutes on the conquest coming with Maz. Yes. I don't have anything special here other than this pretty Maz Kanata light side graphic for people to look at. But in our show notes, we do have the conquest feats. I did total it up based on current newer characters. There's about 16 key cards that are hard gated, which means that it is still possible to red crate even if you're about a year behind. Yeah. Have you looked at the feats at all yet?
I have. And we kind of right before the show started, I actually built out a plan for the first time in all of the years of doing this, because I'm trying to minimize the time playing by maximizing the points that I'm using.
Yeah.
I think for the most part it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, 2 years ago, if you would have told me get blind 80 times, I would have been pissed.
Hmm.
Now there's enough characters that do it at an AE level that even if you don't want to find a way to cheese it, I think that they're achievable from that side. Um, it's interesting though, looking at your notes that you have here around the 16 key cards that are hard gated. I just don't look at it from that perspective because it's not a hard gate for me. I don't have to put
Yes.
something together to help other people, so I don't look at it. But that's an interesting. I didn't look at it from that side. And if you haven't gotten the last three conquest characters, you're in a rough spot. Is where it looks.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like when I look at what's hard gated for me, the only thing here is Jedi Master Mace Windu, which is 3 key cards,
Yep.
right? So that's perfect for me. That's fine. But being that we are a podcast that is not just
Yeah.
sanctioned or viewed or listened to by the people in our same part of the game, I figured roughly about a year-ish seemed relevant to figure out that hard gate point for those people. But I really don't think like 16 key cards is it's not bad. Those people can
No.
still red crate. I will tell you 3 things. Number one, I don't know if I said this to you last week. I did get the Padawan Obi-Wan Omicron
Okay.
because yeah, time-wise, I just want to save time now. I don't care. Number two, I think it's 60 doubt in Sector 1. I hate doubt. Doubt is a pain in the
Yep.
ass. I know it can be cheesed. I'm skipping it. I don't give a shit. It's for 5 key cards. I don't care. And then the other thing that stuck out to me was Order 66. In the last conquest, we needed 10 in Sector 5. Now we need 15. My only problem with that is, and I know that this is a first world problem, when you ask me to R9 an entire team, last conquest, I did 10 battles without getting a single Order 66 because Scorches doesn't count, and my team was killing shit way too fast. I don't like that I have to take off my data discs because that's what I had to do. I had to take off all my data discs, and then I got them all in one battle, and that's annoying to me.
And there's two pieces. Like one, I appreciate the Sarah mentality of it's a puzzle for you to figure out, and there's ways that you can do these things super efficiently. But at the same time, why did you increase the number for something that the end result, if you're really doing it, if you're going to cheese it, you're going to get 75? Like that's
Yeah.
like it's not, it's not like, oh well, you can really only get about 14 with this, so you got to do it twice. Like no, you get so many of them running it that it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm looking at the list. The ones I am going to skip, I will skip doubt. I will skip disarm. And I will skip. I have skipped 10 pirates or 10
Mhm.
battles with at least 3 pirates in your squad, um, only because I'm just not positive that the pirate team will be able to do anything. It
Yeah.
probably will with the right data crowns, but I don't know. I don't want to do uh, the 100 evades. I hate that one.
It's
Um,
it's it's one of it is actually my least, and I think I'll be okay with it because there's a lot of with Jedi Vanguard and Kelbeck, there's a lot of foresight, but it is one of my least favorite data, my burritos, whatever you call them,
yeah,
because it's reactive, right? Everything else is proactive. You can do it based on how your team interacts, but
yeah,
evades is totally based on what the enemy team does to you, and
yeah.
you either get it really fast or you don't.
Yeah, you've got to find the right AE team that kind of rips off 5, then it gives you an opportunity to bring them back. Uh, tenacity down. That's a Omicron one to get after. Health steal up 60 times. Like they keep increasing that number, and I'm still like, no, I got it in 3.
Yeah,
It's you just have to have the right team to kind of run around it. Um, ability block 60 times. That's a big number, but that's bringing Grievous and B2, and you're ripping off those. Again, you got to have the right data disk on so you don't kill everything right away. But I think it's a relatively straightforward list this time. The bigger piece is they don't have a lot of the kill 10 or win 10
Hmm.
times with character X in sector 2, and then, oh, by the way, you need the entire faction that only has 5 characters 10 more times in the other section. Like, that overlap's gone in a lot of these, which that was what I didn't like about the last set.
Yes, and the like win with Fugitive Omega, which is in this set, it's a global. I can do that whenever I
Yep.
want. I can do that over the course, and there actually is some sectors that have great Bad Batch synergy, where I go, okay, I can do this naturally. I do. I am annoyed that the numbers are increasing a little bit because it becomes a case in point of like, all right, I've already proved I can do this. Do you have to make me do a couple extra battles?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't look that terrible. It doesn't look that hard. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. The 20 battles with Jedi Vanguard shouldn't be difficult, but again, it's like it's done in 2 days if you have Jedi Master Mace.
Yeah.
It's done in 4 days if you don't. Like that's the difference where it starts to look in some of these cases. I will tell you where I am spending all of my little key cards in Conquest right now is I buy every stamina refresh that I run
Hmm.
across because I want to get these do 20 of X done as quickly as possible. Like,
Okay.
I will burn through all of my stamina refreshes by the time that I get to the end of it, just because it lets me get done faster.
You know what's funny is last conquest I did 2 conquests. I did one for me and I did one for a guild mate, and that guild mate was on a cruise in an area where there was no service.
Yeah.
Now, when I do conquests, I do not buy those because I want to buy relic material.
Ah,
When I was doing it for him, I was buying those. And I was doing it for 2 reasons. One, he is a Lightspeed bundle account that has spent enough money where he's a high GP. So he does not have mods on half his characters, and I didn't want to touch his mods. But two, the way that I rationalized it was he wasn't getting these key cards anyway. If I
yeah.
didn't do
Yeah.
this for him, his conquest wasn't getting done. So I'm going to do this as easily as possible for me,
Yep.
and he's going to thank me that I got him the character. That's how I did it.
Yep. I think that is 100% completely fair. So,
Um, Anything else on
yeah.
conquest?
No, we'll see what happens on Tuesday. We've got to get some teams put together, but yeah, it's a conquest.
Okay, so then the last thing that we have on the docket for tonight is Kixx, who came to the
Kixx.
holo table yesterday. And again, we have a summary. I know you sent me, but you sent me a few of them. This summary is in the style of the lead singer of Kixx. All right.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay. For all our
for
80s
those,
metal band
yeah,
fans.
of a certain age, Kixx was a 80s hair metal band that had the song "Don't Close Your Eyes." Uh, for as much as the beer swilling, kick your ass, sleep with your girl, like, mentality that Poison and Cinderella and Guns N' Roses and everything that made 13 to 15-year-old me function.
Yeah.
All these guys did were write love songs for people. Like,
Hmm.
that's all that they were. So here we go.
Well, wait, can I
Yeah.
before
So
before we actually do
yeah.
the kit, I just want to, maybe it's just me. I'm going to just throw his character model onto the screen. I don't know how you feel about this. This, to me, is one of my favorite character models in the game right now. I usually don't give a shit. I normally do not care at all, and all I see is like ones and zeros. But I saw him. He doesn't look like a normal clone. He's got a fucking
Yeah.
cape. And I was
Yes.
like, I need to wail on this guy just because he looks so cool.
What's funny is, and I've heard a couple people make the comment, he doesn't look enough like Tamara Morrison though in
Yes.
the character kit. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's because it's the goatee that's there, uh, but they all should somewhat look the same because they're all
Clones.
same dude. So
I noticed that too.
yeah, but
He doesn't look like him. But I looked at, because I know I made the joke beforehand of like, oh great, another clone. He does not look like any of them. I
yeah.
thoroughly love this character. I don't even know who he is. I've never seen the shit that he's in, but I need him. So kudos to CG on that in that regard.
The coloration of his kit, it's kind of got that Bad Batch coloration to it, is great. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this. All right, so again, what you get out of AI is what you put into it. So I asked it for a summary of the Kixx Kit as led by the lead singer of Kixx, the band. Um, so again, it's going to do some dumb stuff, but all right, let's crank it up. I'm Kixx, vocal blazing, hairsprayed sky high, leather pants tighter than a Jawa's secrets, and I'm here to give you the screaming hot download of the galaxy's wildest healer this side of the outer rims. Kixx, the pirate medic from SWGOH. Let's melt some faces with this rundown. Who is he? He's a light side with dangerous edge. He's a clone trooper turned pirate. No 501st here, baby. He heals hard, parties harder, and comes packing buffs like a drum solo at midnight. Love it. Abilities to rock the galaxy. Rapid fire blast, double damage, and full on tenacity up for pirate bros. Shoots, heals, and profits. Explosive response, a sonic boom of AoE punishment, healing immunity, stolen buffs. Sith get wrecked, cooldowns go up like our amps. Emergency med pack, one word, revive. Bring your band back together with heals powered by profit stacks. 10 stacks and boom, damage immunity drop. Republic Medic Corps, speed boosting, debuff shredding, revival magic. Endure keeps allies alive with 1% hit point like they've just survived the monster encore. Mechanics that shred. Profit stacks are your power chords. They fuel everything epic. Endure buff means nobody drops out of the spotlight. Pirate synergy steals the show. Think Hondo, Maz, Quiggold, and even Emphy's Nest for backup vocals. Anti-Sith tech just for spite. These dark robe moaners can't handle the groove. And then join the band, unlock through a marquee event starting July 29th, which was yesterday. Relic 6 is your VIP pass to see Galactic Legend Pirate King Hondo Anako headline the space tour.
Now,
So that's it.
yeah. What do you have? You have him at 6 stars right now?
No, I went a little overkill because a raid started today, and I wanted to try him on that pirate squad, and I'm struggling a little bit. I frustrated at myself for doing that, but sometimes you want to try things.
I get it.
Partially because I want to be right on something, and I'm not being right. It's a relatively basic kit.
Yeah.
You know, he's a healer. You can't do crazy things with it. He's got a revive mechanic, which is always nice. He's got the profit mechanic that's built into it. Yeah, it's make him fast, make him healthy. That's about all you really need out of him.
One thing that is kind of cool, and this goes back to Conquest, is that his basic gives tenacity up to all pirate allies. So what that means is that if tenacity up is ever in a Conquest again and you have Kixx, you are going to get that real fast. Or CG is going to get tenacity up 400 times.
Yeah.
One of those two things is going to happen. But that's how my brain works, because I don't care. Like PvP, I don't care. It is what it is. The other thing to note is I think his animation for his med ability, his revive, is the same as GOTB. People notice that, like, it is a refresh.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care. Like I like the kit. I enjoy it. He's a healer. He's a healer that heals, right? Like what else do you say about it?
Yeah. And there is something in the Maz kit that so we talked about this actually in the last two episodes that profit is capped at 5
Yes.
stacks of profit per character. Maz allows that cap to come off.
So for
So in
Maz,
emergency,
I think, and I might be wrong, I think Maz only stops her own cap. I don't know about her allies.
then I something has to be causing that because at 10 stacks of this actually says at 10 stacks of profit. So he's got to have a cap that comes off for him as well.
Yeah.
What and there's some weird mechanics with Maz that she grants the enemies profit and then she steals that back. So it may be like those that's allowed to happen that way, but
Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking at Maz's kit right now, and like you're right, like I get that, and that's what we were kind of saying last time when it comes to like, wait, why do they keep saying more than 5 stacks of profit? But with her kit, it does say the the profit cap is removed for Maz.
okay.
Now, do they mean for all pirates under Maz? Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
it would
that's what
not be
they
the first
mean.
time that we had a mistake in a kit.
Yeah.
Um,
Or is it only under Hondo that all other characters can get more than 5? Also maybe.
Now they did. I think it was in the Maz release that they are providing a little bit of guidance into what they think the teams are going to be, and they did
Hmm.
say it's going to be Maz and the first 3 pirates. It's
Yeah.
going to be Hondo and the next 3 pirates, and I believe they said the original OG Hondo with the Maz team and SM33 with Pirate King. Is that I believe that was how they described that.
That sounds right, but I want to stipulate that Maz is a conquest character. She
Yeah.
is a light side character. She is an UFU. And I don't give a shit if Avant made this joke on Three Scoundrels already, because he actually got it from me. And he admitted that. So you can go to the tapes and see it. But all this means is that Maz is actually going to be under Ray. It's going to be Ray, Ben, Maz, Hezra, just all in one lovely team where it's all 4 of them because
Yeah.
I don't know reasons. It's gonna happen. Just you wait and see.
Ray, Ezra, Ben Solo. She's going to be like the first 4 conquest character lifter across the board. And that was what they said in the Maz release is that they have yet to introduce the idea of a conquest lifter for a conquest character.
Yeah.
Therefore, their belief is SM33 goes in the other direction. But again, we'll see what it shakes out to be. Maz is a Grand Arena Omicrons. Kixx is Territory Wars. I'm not sure that we'll ever see Maz in Territory Wars or a Maz pirate team in Territory Wars, unless again Datacrons throw everything out the window. But I just we'll see where that comes out to. So
what I would like, my dream, I love, even if I'm not the one doing it, I do love when things are situational. I would love it if the team for Territory Wars is different than the team for GAC. And you play it the way they want you to in GAC, but in Territory Wars, SM33 goes with Afra and Maz goes under Hondo. Some weird shit like that. That would make me so happy if you had to throw things around in weird ways.
Yeah, and I think that we might. I again, if there's flexibility with these, I think you brought this up 2 weeks ago. I saw a lot of SM33 with Afra on Rise of the Empire, and doing some work from that side. So
I did it in Dathomir. It was great. It made my Dr. Aphra squad. I took out IG-88. I figured keep Darth Vader in there because he has Merciless Massacre, and that just gets a lot of turns. It's an auto team, so I threw SM-33 on both days, and it made that a lot faster because he hits like a Mack truck. Like, that middle special does a lot of damage. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Have you not tried him yet, or no?
So I ran him a couple times in the raid.
Okay.
And that was it. He seemed to. I remembered him hitting a lot harder a week ago than tonight. And I need to go back through and make sure that I've actually got mods and everything the way that they're supposed to be, because I ran another mod update on it. But look, and we've talked about this in the past. The frustration with these characters they are non-functional for another 10 weeks.
Yeah.
You're just not going to see what they are, and there'll likely be a Datacron. Actually, well, there's a Datacron for Kixx, so that's going to prop them up coming out of that as well. So you just don't know what they're going to look like. We will have a better idea of what the Galactic Legend Pirate Hondo team looks like than what we will the first three characters that were part of his release and what they'll do on a day-over-day basis.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating.
It definitely is. And in the past, we would get the new Conquest character maybe 3 or 4 days before Conquest. And I think that this type of thinking kind of started, and maybe you had said it, maybe someone else had said it. I don't remember if it was you or Logan. When they gave us like the Hezra was coming out. And I don't even remember who came before Hezra. It might have been Darkseid Ray. I don't even know. But they gave it to us like 2 months ahead of time. And it was kind of like, what do we even do with this information? It's 5 months until we even get this character. Like, great, he looks awesome, but what theory crafting do you want me to do half a year ahead of time? And that's like, yeah, I don't want to put any time or effort into Maz until 2.5 months from now. Yeah. Because that's when it matters.
Look, I drafted something earlier this year and did nothing with it, but there is a path this calendar year. If they're willing to double up, or if they're willing to essentially insert one conquest that say all the rewards for that conquest are legacy characters, that you can shift the conquest release cadence back to the eras so that they line up very cleanly and we don't run into this situation anymore.
Yeah.
The problem is, if they don't do it this year, it becomes very difficult to do the next year because of just the way that 12 week cycles work, and kind of that extra 4 meat that they have to roll at the end of it. I just wish that they would find a way to line those up, just so that, yes, not all conquest characters align to eras, but in this case it does, and it would be nice if we, at the conclusion, we could actually run it.
Yeah, 100%. Especially now when I can relic my characters at 5 stars, so they're usable. They're characters I can try and I can play with, and if I had Maz, I could do something with them. But it also goes back to, like, why was SM-33 before Maz? Because if Maz just came out and all of these characters came out, I would be in a good position, and who cares about SM-33? He hits like a Mack truck, but his team doesn't really come out yet for another 3 months anyway.
And look, I'm sure someone will figure out a pirate raid squad to make out of these guys, but it does not look as clean. It's a very heavy AE team.
Yeah.
And especially with QoL doesn't have a non-AE attack. Kixx has one basic and one AE. And the Thano has a basic, a single target, and an AE. AE in this raid is terrible because everybody counters
Retribution,
and then all the stacks go down. So and there does not seem to be a great way to pull buffs. So it feels like their timing's just not great.
Yeah, it's timing. 100%, it is timing. And I could give you another hour on just raid mechanics. I don't want to do that. The raid's been out for what, 4 or 5 weeks at this point. It is what it is. I don't hate it. There are things I don't like. There's always going to be things that I don't like about it, and that's fine. Overall, I am relatively happy with the game. There was one small bit of news that I wanted to bring up before we finished, and it's part of the small news. Was that last time we recorded, we talked about the era battle shift, and we talked about how it kind of screwed over a lot of players like myself who followed a specific path based on the math that we were given. And we were left in a position where we could no longer do that, and we kind of got screwed out of a 5-star. And the solution that we had come up with is that if they had given us a free Athano pack, it would at least make whole people.
Yeah.
So we do have confirmation that Meathead listens to us. We do have confirmation that Meathead and CG is our Zeta protocol followers, because a few days ago we did all get not only an Athano marquee pack for free, but also a Quiggled marquee pack for free, which essentially makes everybody whole. It was my one gripe. Meathead, you have an open invitation to join us. I know you're listening. Please do it. We will make it work. I will have my guy put in a third frame so that you can be in there too. We'll put you right in the middle. I don't care. But if you're here, just hit me up, man. Just hit me up.
We'll put you in the middle. If you're going to tell us that the right side is your better profile, we'll put you on the right. You just look. Send us your rider. If you need all green green M&Ms, we'll send you all green M&Ms. Whatever we need to do to make that happen.
Bottle of vodka, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll Venmo you the vodka. I don't give a shit.
I'm certain he would probably be okay with the bottle of vodka. Their PR person probably wouldn't. Like that would probably be like we're gonna nix that. No, thank you.
Maybe not. Yeah. But with that said, man, do you have any final thoughts on these last 2 weeks?
I don't. The good news is we're getting into such a cadence around this that I actually looked at my calendar tonight to find out if I was going to be available in 2 weeks, and it looks like we'll be able to hit this again in 2 weeks. So,
you know, it's funny because I did too. I said, "Oh shit, I'm going on vacation next week," and then I went, "Oh, that's not actually going to affect anything. I'm good. I'm fine." So don't worry, Zeta Protocol fans. We will be back in 2 weeks, whether there's news or not, and our open invitation to Meathead will stand, and maybe one day he will join us.
I will tell you right now, we are not doing Zeta Protocol on the 27th
of August.
Of August, we are not doing it on the 27th. So
that's okay.
That is your boy turns 50 that day, and
are you August 27th?
I will not be doing a podcast. So yeah. I am August 27th, yes.
That's great. See, we're learning so much about each other. I'm actually August 25th.
Nice.
So my wife, it's not a long-standing tradition. The tradition started last week. Not last week. That's stupid. Last year. There is a Korean barbecue place in the city called Kote. It's a very fancy place. We're going there that weekend. I'm very excited. It's a very high quality, very Manhattan. So I'm gonna text you that night and we'll be like, "Hey man, it's our birthday. This is great."
So normally every year I'm at our sales conference in Las Vegas on my birthday, and I wanted to be. Actually, my daughter made a big deal. She's like, "I want you to be home this year." Yeah, and I thought it was great that she wanted to celebrate it with me. And what I'm finding out is she just wants 24 hours to make old jokes to me. Like that's what it is. Like it is. She has been researching these things for weeks. So yeah, it's gonna be. I want to spend time with you and tell you how old you are and all of that other fun stuff. So yeah, it'll be great.
I love it. I love it, and that's okay. We'll figure it out. It might be 3 weeks between an episode, and people will live. We'll make it work.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
With that said, for those of you who are listening this far, I did get a new mic. I bit the bullet. I bought myself something nice. I did something. I never buy myself anything nice. Please, 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 please. I spent 4 hours today playing with settings. I know we ask this every week. I need to know. Please let me know. Better, not better. You hear the sound in the background. My HVAC is going right now. Please tell me. Because I want to know if it was worth it. But with that said, Mr. Pico Burrito, the clone pirate, we are out on Zeta Protocol for tonight. So for everybody out there, peace out. Have a great night.